if you guys are in the US, you probably know what this week is. It's Thanksgiving. And for obvious reasons, I could not do a class on gratitude around Thanksgiving. And those of you that are my Canadians who've already had Thanksgiving, I know we're late. I'm sorry. But I just couldn't not do a class on gratitude. And I mean, for obvious reasons, gratitude is important. And we think of Thanksgiving as a time of gratitude. I see Thanksgiving as a time of healing as well, of healing relationships, of healing ourselves. And gratitude is something that is so healing and uplifting. And, you know, in general, I think we're happier when we have gratitude in our hearts. It's really hard to allow bitter, resentful, or mean-spirited energy to reside in our hearts when we have gratitude. And, you know, sometimes, at least for me, and you guys, you may have not experienced this, but I have, that I found it really hard to be grateful because it didn't have anything that I wanted. Everything in my life was like, you know, the consolation prize, the second best, well, except for my husband, because he was amazing. He's amazing. But a lot of things were just like, well, that wasn't what I wanted. That didn't happen the way I wanted. That I worked so hard and that didn't happen for me. And, you know, I actually was crying to my husband and I was like, why are things so easy for other people? You know? And that was actually last night where I was like, because one thing that's really hard for me is being organized. And I'm like, I don't understand how it's so easy for other people to be so organized. And he goes, well, be grateful that you have other gifts that other people don't have. And I started thinking about it and I was like, you're right. And it's the same thing with spiritual gifts. And it's the same thing with things in our life physically and mentally. And, you know, heard him, he was listening to a talk online and, you know, he goes, some of the poorest people in the world are the most grateful and they have very little. And some of the least grateful people are the ones that have everything. And I kind of looked at around at my house and I said, I don't really lack for very much. I have a roof over my head. I have food in my fridge. I have a loving husband. You know, we have cars to drive and, you know, clothing to wear and a warm place to sleep. And here I am, you know, being ungrateful because it doesn't look like what I want it to look like, that I don't have. And I go in with jealousy of, oh, all I want to do is live in the forest in a cabin in the woods and, or, you know, or buy a bus and go be a hippie riding in a school bus and, you know, all of these things. And then I realized I was so focused on lack, and focusing on lack, what exists in our minds, what exists in our hearts, will exist in our reality. And so if we focus on what we lack, we will continue to lack. And, you know, I was reading my charts, I pulled up my natal chart. And I was reading it because if you guys were on my live, I was actually showing some people my natal chart and everyone's like, oh, a couple of people were like, oh my gosh, your chart's like insane. And I was like, and nobody really kind of totally explained it to me. But so I was looking at this and I was reading my charts and something kind of stood out to me that I'm going to share, and maybe it will connect to some of you. Is that, and again, I'm not an astrology expert. I know the basics, but that's about it. And my Jupiter, which apparently represents expansion and grace, is in Leo. And it says she attracts the most good fortune when she expresses let's say the word magnanimity. I can't say the word. You guys know what the word I'm trying to say. If you don't, sorry. If I'm generous with others and inspires confidence in those around her and conducts herself with dignity, and sincerity, while also avoiding the pitfall of excessive egotism. Prosperous areas are creative, entertainment, children, blah, blah, blah. Takes pride, generosity brings success. And I was looking at this and I was like, generosity is gratitude, right? We are generous because we're like, I am so grateful for what I have. Let me give you some of what I have for you. Generosity can sometimes go into ego though, but I looked back at like Spirit Fluent and what's happened the past year, and the times that have been the most beautiful, successful times for me and Spirit Fluent was when I was just giving freely, when I was giving free calls and free classes, just completely freely. And yes, it burned me out, but it was the most beautiful time because I was giving freely with gratitude. I'm grateful for you. Let me share my healing gifts with you. Let me share my knowledge with gratitude. I'm grateful I have the knowledge. Let me give it to you freely, right? And the times when, you know, things kind of went like this were the times where I pulled back and stopped sharing freely with generosity. And so generosity is connected to gratitude. There are other things that are connected to gratitude: love, kindness, forgiveness. I mean, and we talk about forgiveness a whole lot, but forgiveness is, you know, I'm grateful for you, even though an experience may have been less than perfect. I'm grateful for what you taught me. I forgive you and I release you, you know. And so we have all of these things that, you know, connect with gratitude. And, you know, there's a quote that I really, really like. It says, a grateful heart is the beginning of greatness. And, you know, that's pretty profound. You know, so many people in the world, all of us, I think, want greatness on some sort of level, right? We want to be a great friend or a great parent. We want to be great at the job that we do at work and things like that. Or a great author, a great writer, or poet or painter, whatever it is. We want to achieve some sort of personal greatness. And to think about that a grateful heart is the beginning of greatness is pretty profound. And, you know, a gratitude provides us with a greater perspective on the very, there goes my throat chakra, on the very purpose and joy of life, you know. The purpose of life is gratitude. At least I think it is. And to be grateful for all experiences that come our way, for all things that happen within our lives. And, you know, the expression of feelings of gratitude can also have a wonderful cleansing or healing nature. Because gratitude can bring beautiful things, not only to the giver, but the receiver. And I heard this story of this little old lady who all she did was express gratitude to people. And she felt like it was her gift. And every day she would just express gratitude. And, you know, one day her power went out and she was sitting alone in the dark, and one of her neighbors went to check on her. And she was like, well, I'm grateful I have a house and I'll be okay. And then she looked out the window and the men that were working on the power lines, and she goes, I wish I could go outside because I would tell them how grateful I am for fixing my power, you know. And I don't know about you guys, but I would love for you to think of a time where someone expressed gratitude to you and how that felt. And I want you to kind of hold on to that feeling for just a moment in your heart. So kind of go back to one time when someone said, I am grateful for you. And just feel how that felt to receive that compliment, to receive those words, to receive that compassionate gift of expression of gratitude. And it probably felt pretty darn amazing, right? And so I want you to hold on to that feeling for just a little bit as we keep talking, because in a little bit, we're going to do a little gratitude meditation. And you're going to need to bring back that sensation, because I'm going to ask you guys to do something that may feel like kind of hard in a little bit. So, gratitude is said to be the memory of the heart. And, I think that that's pretty profound. And there's things that we can do within our lives, obviously, to reflect and bring gratitude in. Journaling is obviously a great way. We can turn our social media accounts into our own personal prayer journal or a personal gratitude journal. We can, send our gratitude to someone just through a prayer or a meditation of, I am so grateful, and we can build that relationship with forgiveness and our higher power of bringing gratitude towards us. But, if you're human and you're like me, there's probably many times where you struggle to feel gratitude, and we try so hard to be grateful. And I know around Thanksgiving, I remember my parents being like, okay, everybody say something you're grateful for, or say something you're grateful for to the person next to you. And you look at your brother and you're like, I'm grateful he's not picking his nose right now. And then we did that with my kids, and they do the same thing. I'm grateful that my brother hasn't farted today. And we're like, okay, this is not getting where we need to be, because the kids are just like, they're like grasping at straws. And I know for me, when I first started focusing on gratitude, it felt very unnatural. It felt weird. It felt hard, because I was like, I don't know what to be grateful for. And I remember looking in my gratitude journal, and I wonder if it's around here somewhere. Maybe. Let me see. Maybe not. I don't think it's here. If I find it, I'll screenshot some pictures and show you guys. But I was like, I'm grateful for water. I'm grateful for the clouds and the sun, like pretty kind of like ridiculous things, because I was like so kind of in that depths of despair that it was really hard to find something to be grateful for. I was like, okay, I'm grateful for water that comes out of the tap. Awesome. There's something I'm grateful for. But was I really truly embodying and feeling that gratitude? Did I bring that feeling back of, what is actually feeling gratitude? So we talked about, what does it feel like when someone expresses gratitude? But also think about, what does it feel like to feel grateful? And you all know I'm a storyteller, and I'm going to tell you a story I don't think I've told before. So, my younger years were pretty tumultuous. And I remember that I had to drive from like Havasu to Kingman one day. This was after my son had been born. And it was for a court hearing. And it was either for my divorce court or for the one where I slashed my ex-husband's tires. Can't remember which one. If you remember the story, he was very abusive. I slashed his tires so he couldn't follow me, so I could run away from him. And that, of course, backfired in a tremendous way. Don't slash people's tires. It doesn't work. Well, it did and it didn't. Anyways, don't do it. But so I don't remember exactly why I was going, but I had to go. Like, there was no choice. But I remember that I only had $5 for gas. And I knew, of course, this was back in the 90s. So $5 was enough to get up there, but it was not enough to get back. Right. But I was like, well, I have to go. There's no choice. So I thought, well, maybe I'll coast on the hills and, I'll make it somehow. And, I tried to ask my dad for money and he was like, I'm not giving you any money. And I was like pulling all the little pennies out of the thing to try to get enough money. I remember like giving the cashier at the gas station like handfuls of quarters and stuff and like 2 crumpled dollar bills. And the cashiers just look at you like, anyways. So we started on the trip, we got there, finished, and I started coming back. And I ran out of gas. And if you've ever driven the freeway, it's not a freeway, it's more like a highway between Kingman and like Needles and like Havasu. It's pretty desolate. Like there's nothing there but desert. There's no water, there's no trees, there's just shrubs and cactus. And I ran out of gas. I don't remember what time of year it was. It must have not been very hot because I don't remember it being hot. And there I was on the side of the road with a baby and no money. And this was before cell phones were really popular. So I had no phone to call anyone. And I just sat there and I cried. And I was like, I don't know what's going to happen or how long I'm going to be there. And I don't remember how long I sat on the side of the road. I don't know that it was very long when this white work truck pulled over and this guy got out. And obviously my safety was not a concern to me because I was immediately talking to him. I was like, oh my gosh, somebody's here. Oh my gosh, like the instant feeling of relief of like, I'm saved, and the guy's like, well, what's going on? And I explained to him I had run out of gas. And he goes, you know what? Hold on a second. He went back and he had one of those big red 5-gallon things of gas. And he goes, let me fill up your tank the best I can. This should get you home. And he poured it in. And I remember this. It was a feeling of relief and amazement and joy and tears all at once, where I was like, oh my God, I don't know how to repay you. I don't think I ever can repay you. I don't have, I mean, if you want to follow me to Havasu, I think I can get my dad to give you some money to pay you back. And he goes, it's okay. You pay it forward. And that's all the things I need. And he put his gas can back in his truck and drove away. Never got his name, barely even remember what he looked like. But I remember how I felt. And it was a sense of awe and joy and relief and peace and just pure thankfulness of, I'm saved. Someone loved me enough that didn't even know me to stop and save me. And so I want you guys to go in and I want you to think of a time when you felt that for someone else. When someone else came in and rescued you, and your gratitude was almost to the point of where you couldn't express it with words. And maybe there was tears, and maybe there was joy, maybe there was hugs, or whatever it was, where you just felt extreme gratitude. And I just kind of want you to sit with that again. Kind of just sit with how that felt, to be the person being rescued. And so now we've kind of experienced again what it felt like for someone to express gratitude to us, and then what it felt like to be the person with the gratitude. Now, holding on to those emotions, I want you guys to start thinking about the emotions of fear, of lack, of I don't have enough, of I need. And if those kind of come to you where it's like, I don't have enough, or I'm lacking this, or I don't have enough money or food, or whatever the lack is, I don't have enough love or support or protection. I want you to notice the difference between those. I want you to notice how different lack feels to gratitude. And I think you'll notice there's a big, big difference in how your energy shifted with those two emotions. And you're welcome to share in the comments how you feel or what that makes you feel. But, I know for me, when I went into lack instantly, it was like panic, anxiety, stress, uncertainty, what's going to happen. And it definitely didn't feel the same way. And one of the things I am working on for myself as an unhealed healer is trying to stay in the space of gratitude as much as possible, even when the situations are difficult. And I know I may have told this story before, but I'll tell it again. A month or so ago, maybe a little bit longer, my bank account was kind of meh. I'd taken a lot of time off of work and, hadn't really done a lot of readings. And my husband was like, we're going to have to sell something. He needs cleats, and I was like, no, hold on. I think we can do something. I said, don't go off and sell anything just yet. I think we can figure this out. And just give me a moment. Okay, so I see some comments. I'm going to pause. Nicole says, for me, the lack was more empty and stressful, where gratitude made you smile. I love that. Where it kind of fills your heart, where your heart was like, I'm empty. And then gratitude is like, I'm all full, And I think that's a really cool way to think about it. Think about it as our hearts, filling our hearts with that loving gratitude energy. And, going into gratitude when you're lacking is not easy. Believe me. I mean, it's very easy to go into the victim. I'm the victim. I don't have stuff. How is it so easy for everyone else to have stuff? One thing that was really stressful for me too, like I would look at like my ex-business partner. I'm like, she's an evil person and she uses people all the time, but yet she's got a ton of money and a nice house and a nice car. And I remember telling my husband, like, I don't understand why someone like that can have all the beautiful, wonderful things in the world. And then I'm over here struggling. And I remember actually saying that to him. And he goes, yeah, but is she happy? Does she feel love? Does she have a good family? And I was like, no, she doesn't. I know she doesn't. And then I actually remember going to him and saying, I'm so grateful for you. I'm so grateful I have you. And I told him before, because he always worries about not giving us what he feels like we need. And he's, he wants to work and things like that. I'm like, you can't work, you got to focus on school, got 2 more years, do it. And, and he goes, well, I want you to have those nice things. I want you to have a nice house and a nice car. And I said, it's okay. We have what we need. And I'm grateful for that. And I said, I'm grateful for you. And something that really helped me understand gratitude was that, I said, I would live in a tent with you and be homeless as long as I was with you, because I'm so grateful for you and grateful to having you. And so I was willing to give up everything in the world for someone that I am grateful for. Morgan says, same as Nicole, with lack, also panic, anxiety, and fear, depending on what it is. But gratitude comes on as an intense but positive overwhelm, which usually ends up with tears because I don't know how to process that. All right, that's an important thing to touch on. Is sometimes it's hard to process gratitude, especially when we've been in lack for a long time, or in trauma, or things like that, because it can feel overwhelming. Because positive emotions, think about it back to the heart, the heart of lack, of pain, of trauma is an empty heart. The heart of gratitude and love and joy is a full heart. But that fullness feels different. And our subconscious goes, you're used to being empty. Why are you putting something in me? And so we think about it, if someone is starving, and I actually learned this years ago, that when someone is starving, your first instinct is, here's a whole pizza and cake and pie, and here's plates full of food, eat. But they actually cannot eat full plates of food. They actually have to, what they call, refeed them. And they have to start out with very simple, very tiny meals. Or if they feed them too much, it will actually make them sicker and put them in a worse position. Morgan says, I think the overwhelm of why someone would do that for me, and not the understanding of why they thought I was worth it. We'll touch on that too. So when you are refeeding a starving heart, it's easy to get overwhelmed, right? It's easy to go, like Morgan said, why? Why would you do this for me? Because our subconscious, like, we're used to starving. I'm used to starvation. I'm used to that empty heart. Why would you give me something to put there? I don't know what to do with this. And so you think of like a starving child who hasn't had much food. They're not going to know what to do. If you put a bunch of food in front of them, they're going to go, why? Why did you give this to me? You know, I'm used to having this and you gave me this. And, you know, very similar to people in the lottery who are not used to having money. Typically, most people who win the lottery end up broke or sad or more depressed with health issues than they did when they won, because they're not used to it. And so they'll push away what they're not used to. And so our heart goes, I'm not safe with gratitude. I don't know what to do with it. Take it back. Take it back. No, it's fine. You know, so that's something I've been learning. If someone expresses gratitude to me, I typically know it's no big deal. It's fine. It's nothing. It's, you know, I didn't do anything that, you know, whatever. I mean, you guys have probably heard me say that many times. Pushing aside, it's fine. It doesn't, you know, just natural, whatever. Right. And one of the things that I am learning to do is when someone gives me gratitude, deep breath. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you saying that. Thank you. That means so much to me. Thank you. Yeah, no big deal. And it's often not a big deal, especially to those that are givers and healers and those with trauma, where it's like, it's no big deal for me to give because I'm used to giving every single piece of my soul to everyone, you know, but we must receive back to fill that heart, that whole empty cup thing. That's your heart. How are you going to fill your heart if you're not going to receive gratitude? And I'm not going to lie. Like I said, unhealed healer heal. This is fucking hard for me, for someone to give me gratitude and me to sit with it and say nothing but thank you, or I appreciate you, or, you know, that means a lot for you to say that. And, oh, it's so hard. I want to make, oh, it's fine. No big deal. I work on it. So it's not an overnight thing, you know, but next time someone says appreciation or gratitude to you, that's an energetic exchange. Gratitude is an energy exchange. You know, we think of money as the energy exchange often, you know, especially if those of you like Nicole and others who are healers, you know, or psychics or things like that, we talk about energetic exchange. And most people see as like money is the energetic exchange. But, you know, I was talking to Dan, which, by the way, Dan did agree to come to Sedona, but I do have to cover his travel expenses and hotel, as well as giving him our gratitude gift. So it's not going to be cheap, but we're going to pull it off. So excited. But, you know, we were actually talking about this yesterday, and he goes, well, you know, I won't put a tag on my time, but you tell me what feels good. Generally, I'd ask that you cover my meals and lodging and travel. And then some people give me a gift of gratitude. And so, you know, for Dan, sometimes all we give Dan is tobacco. And I remember the first time I met Dan, I went to the most expensive smoke shop. And I don't smoke. So I'm like, give me your best loose leaf tobacco. And I got the best tobacco. I think it was like $20 for this little bag of tobacco. And, I gave him that because I was like, I want to give him the best from my heart. And he's like, you're the first person that's ever given me really good tobacco. Typically people just go get the cheap, like $2 stuff. And I was like, oh, okay. But I wanted to give him the best gift. Sometimes people give him money and he actually will have a basket where you can put tobacco or money or gifts in there for him. And so he recognizes that energy exchange. And sometimes grateful words are that energy exchange. I don't have, my pockets are empty, but my heart is full. Let me share that with you. And so, gratitude can be given and receiving. I make up my own words here, guys, in many different ways, and so look at the energy exchange of the gratitude of, if your heart feels a little empty, be a little bit more open to allowing that heart to fill up with gratitude. And so as we go into Thanksgiving, I think, Thanksgiving for me is, it used to be, okay, it's just the family and the pilgrims. Now that I have more knowledge, I'm like, okay, there's a discord with Thanksgiving because of the original roots. And, so for me, I'm like, okay, I will still make it a day of gratitude and family, but also of remembrance and peace. And of, looking at like, how can we recognize with gratitude different pieces of us and knowledge of our ancestors. And, I actually am going to, on Thanksgiving, have my family would focus on sending gratitude back to the native peoples who trusted those who hurt them and telling them thank you because they supported those people. And so we're going to send our gratitude to them. And I don't know if that's going to be healing or not, but we're going to try it. And so one of the things I want to do with you guys is a gratitude meditation and focusing on those emotions of feeling what it's like to give and receive gratitude, but also to fill that heart up with gratitude. So before we move into that, and kind of move into the meditation, does anybody have any questions or comments on what we've talked about so far with gratitude? And I'll try to kind of pause and give space because I know I tend to ask questions and I'm like 2 seconds later, I'm like, nobody? Okay, fine. And then we move on and then somebody has a question. So, but we'll just all kind of drink a little bit of water, got my incense burning. And I think, let's see, we'll go into our meditation. And so I think everybody here should remember how to do meditations with me, but follow along if you've forgotten. It's been a while, I think, that since we've done a meditation. Oh, we'll wake up. If you're ever tired, wait, you tap right here and then there, and that can wake you up. All right, so we're going to go into gratitude and we're going to go into this meditation, and we're going to start with our 3 deep breaths in. And we're really going to just feel that cleansing energy come into our lungs and really push out, especially focusing on any fear, anxiety, lack that you're feeling, any overwhelm. And so we're going to start with our first deep breath in through the nose. And then push it out. Deep breath in 2. And then push it out. 3. I want you guys to keep deep breathing. Just keep moving that energy. Breathing in and breathing out. And as you breathe in and breathe out, you're really going to focus in on your heart center. And I want you to focus on first if there is emotions within your heart that make you feel unworthy of gratitude. There are energies within your heart that tie you to lack, to not having enough love, enough money, enough peace, enough joy in your life. I want you to fill in and see if there is something in your heart that is attached to being a martyr, to being the savior of others, the fixer of problems. Is there resistance to receiving? I want you to just sit with those emotions and recognize why those are there. Why you give but cannot receive. Why you hurt but will not allow joy. Just deep breathe in and push those emotions out. We're going to send them gratitude. There are no negative experiences, only learning experiences. And we are grateful for all experiences within our heart, body, mind, soul, and reality. Pull into that feeling of gratitude and tell those emotions, thank you. Thank you for creating awareness, connection, perception, and understanding. Thank you for being a part of our life lessons and teaching us what we need to know. But for now, it is time for you to go. And I want you to breathe in and imagine pushing those emotions out of your heart and your body. Just push out. And as you breathe in, ask your heart permission to replace all of those emotions with love and gratitude. Breathe in and then breathe out, making room in your heart for gratitude, appreciation, and love. Really tune into your heart and ask your heart, what do you need right now to experience, to allow, to receive, to appreciate the gratitude that others have expressed to you? Can we allow the willingness of receiving, which is the counterpart of giving? Can we allow balance and restoration of that balance within our heart? Knowing that we cannot be all receiving and no giving, and that we cannot be all giving with no receiving. I want you to ask your heart if receiving gratitude, if receiving energetic exchanges, gifts of gratitude, feel selfish or wrong to you. And if they do, speak this to your heart. Receiving is not the same as taking, and I am allowed to receive with full gratitude, grace, and appreciation all words, all gifts, all energy exchanges given in gratitude. I allow myself to fully receive. Take a deep breath in and push out the anxiety. One more deep breath in. Push out any guilt accepted with receiving. Feel into your heart. Tell your heart, thank you. Send your heart gratitude. I am grateful for you. I am grateful for you providing a home for my soul and my subconscious. I am grateful for every beat of my heart and the love and light, the energy and the blood that it pushes throughout my body to heal, to restore, to regenerate my body. I am grateful for my body and its ability to self-heal, to restore and regenerate at will. I am grateful for the eternal energy and soul that resides within my body and the journey that we are on in the physical and the spiritual. I am grateful for all knowledge and all peace. Let's go into your heart one last time and notice as it started to fill with gratitude. Go back to the feelings of when someone told you they were grateful for you. See if that feels a little better. See if there's room to put those emotions of gratitude away in our heart. Those light languages that someone has spoken in gratitude to us, that we can store that joyful energy exchange within our heart. Now that we've made a little bit more room for that, let's go to the time that our heart swelled in gratitude for someone else. Allow that gratitude to swell within your heart. To feel that warmth fill your soul. And as your heart fills with gratitude, I would like you to envision someone that you would like to receive some of this gratitude energy from you. And envision from your heart beautiful pink rays of light coming out of your heart and surrounding this person with love and gratitude and peace. Tell them thank you. Thank you for all they've done, for their love, their generosity, and their support. We are grateful. Sit with your body for just one more moment, feeling gratitude for the healing you have received, gratitude for the healing you will receive in the future, gratitude for the healing you've received in the past. And when it feels appropriate, start to come back into the room. Stretch your fingers, toes, and release any of that remaining energy. If it feels appropriate, bring your hands to heart center. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Make your way back into the present reality, feeling maybe a little bit more peaceful and a little bit more grateful. And you can kind of just sit, and I'll continue to kind of tell you what happened with my son's football cleats as you come back into the room. And so I asked my husband to give me overnight to find a solution to the football cleats that were damaged. And that night I went into prayer and meditation. And I said, I am so grateful that I am able to afford new football cleats for my son. I am so grateful for my business and the clients that generate money for me and my family that supports us. I'm grateful for the love and appreciation that we have been sent, for the energetic exchanges that allow us to have our needs met, as well as allowing us to have some of the good things in life as well. I am grateful. And then I went to bed. And the next morning, I looked at my email and I had 2 new clients. And not only were those 2 new clients enough to buy football cleats, but they were also enough to buy groceries and other things that we needed. And I will not guarantee that every time you go into gratitude that you will attract money to your house or your business or your account. But when your needs align with what the universe has in store with you, and the gratitude energy is infused with that, there are miracles that are possible. And so my challenge to you guys is, as you go through this week, to, instead of in prayer and meditation thinking about what we lack, of what we need or what we want to attract to our life, to focus on what you are grateful for. Where is your gratitude? And what do you have gratitude for? Are you grateful for the people? Are you grateful for the food? Are you grateful for freedom, peace, love? But also share gratitude of what you want to attract more of in your life. Because the universe is this catalyst, and a thankful heart will attract what you need. And that gratitude is an act of faith and hope that unlocks the doors of heaven and the universe and creator to help us feel that beautiful spiritual universal love that can help us heal our hearts. That gratitude is this beautiful medicine that will heal your mind and your body and your spirit. And when we are in gratitude, it attracts more things to be grateful for. And so keep in mind that there is always things to be grateful for. There's always something that we can find, even if it's as simple as water. And our gratitude is a measure of our love for ourselves, for others, for God, creator in the universe. And that if we walk and act with gratitude, regardless of our circumstances, we will be able to find ourselves. We will be able to find more reasons to be grateful. And that we will have a more open heart and a beautiful experience throughout this life. And so with that, I am going to kind of end what I have to say about gratitude, but I would like to give you guys the last few minutes to express your gratitude for things in your life that you're grateful for, even if it's as simple as a cup of coffee that you had this morning, or the water that came out of your faucet. I would challenge each and every one of you to share one thing that you're grateful for today, either in the comments or you're welcome to unmute, because I would love to end today's class surrounded with not only my gratitude for you guys for allowing me to express and share my gifts, my gratitude for the support that you guys give to myself and my business and my family, but I would love to give you the opportunity to connect and share your gratitude as well. So, Laura, oh, that's a good one. Laura says, I am grateful for so many things, but today I am grateful I can work from home. I'm with you. Man, there's nothing better than working from home. It's pretty awesome, I'll tell you. I kind of see no reason for half of us to go back to the office at this point, right? Nicole is grateful for that as well. Yeah, I know, actually, I think everybody here, except for Jamie, I think works at home. And so, I think most of us admit that. But Jamie, do you work at home? I don't know. I can't. You do part of the time. Okay, so see, we all have that. Morgan says same, but also grateful for new friends and the support they have provided. Yeah, there's something that's awesome about new friends, but also I think about Spirit Fluent in general, that there's a reason that we've all been put together. And we could say, well, yeah, everybody bought the same program. Okay. But, I think that there's something bigger than that. And I am grateful for that. Jamie's is very simple. Mine, she's grateful for a real wreath this year, the way it smells in the ambiance. Yes. I love the simple gratitudes, and I'm right on with you. Like, there is nothing that smells better than like fresh pine, right? You've never had one before. Ooh. Oh my gosh. I used to be a florist, and I loved Christmas and working with the pine and making arrangements out of it. So I'm with you. Like, that smell is something amazing. And here's a trick for you guys. Your local Christmas tree lots. I do this with Home Depot. So if you have a Home Depot near you, you can try this. They cut off the bottom few branches of the trees, and they're considered waste to them. But I found they'll give them to you for free. And so I go over to the lots and I say, can I have a few branches for free? And I will take those and I will kind of layer them on like my bookshelves or like on my TV stand and plop some ribbon and ornaments on them. And you get your own little free pine boughs that way. So there's a little idea for you guys that if you guys want your own little taste of fresh Christmas tree, you could do that. Nicole says she's never had one. Not sure if it's an allergy, but you have a hard time breathing around live wreaths and Christmas trees. It could be that. It could be that there's chemical coatings, because I'm sure you've walked through a pine forest and not had that same reaction. So I'm going to assume, I don't know for sure, that it's more connected to, because they'll actually spray them with waxes and chemical coatings to make them last longer. so they don't dry out as fast. So I'm going to assume for you that may be why. Um, and obviously with, I don't want you to have an allergic reaction, but one thing you may try is, I know that this is true in Arizona. I don't know if it's true everywhere else, but I would assume it is, because this is a federal forest thing, that at least if you're in the US, you can get a Christmas tree permit. And I think it's like $20. You can go out and like cut your own Christmas tree out in the woods. So if there's woods or forest around you, and those things don't bother you and create that reaction out with you, you might be able to go get your own fresh tree by doing that way. Or there's the rosemary trees or other trees that are in pots, and maybe see if you don't have the same reaction to one that's not a cut tree. So just some ideas for you. So we're kind of at the end of our time. So I just want to leave you guys with my love and gratitude again for each and every one of you, and all that you have done for me in helping me express my gifts, helping me with Spirit Fluent and everything else. And I see your message, Morgan.